بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulullah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in ma ba'. Now, inshallah ta'ala, I want to just kind of briefly clarify to the best of my ability the understanding of accepting the fatwa of the ulama without the ulama providing any evidences, and or understanding taqleed or taqleed al-amma, blind following. One, I want to discuss the meaning of taqleed, lughatan in the language, and also istilahan in the religion. Also discuss the topic of taqleed as relates to the classification of people in relation to this blind following, and is it totally prohibited? On one hand, you have the hadadiyya, or the likes of those people who imitate them, or like some of the Hujuri followers who say that we go straight to Kitab and Sunnah. This is one extreme, because everyone doesn't have the ability to go to Kitab and Sunnah in and of itself. On the other hand, you have those who are lackadaisical and easy, and they say we accept everything from the scholars. And the ulama themselves, they say that they are not the evidences in and of itself, but they are only clarifiers of the evidence. So this means that also, if you just go straight to them and take everything that they say, they may be incorrect, and they get a reward, as the messenger mentioned in the hadith in Bukhari about the judge who judges and he gets it correct, he gets one reward, two rewards, and he makes a mistake, he gets one reward. But of course, does that go for the one who follows him? So that means that anyone who has the ability to find out the evidences, that he still takes the opinion of the sheikh, although he may be incorrect, and this is not permissible. So if we take the opinion that we take anything and everything, then that's also an extreme. So Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, Salafiyyin, we're in the middle. So we have to understand this. So let's first start with a taqleed lughatan. If you look at Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen in his book Al-Usul min Ilm al-Usul, the Sheikh, he mentions that taqleed is wadi' shay fi al-unuq muhitan bihi kal-qilada. So it's like to place something on the neck or around the neck, such as like a collar or like something like this around the neck. So in other words, you're placing a leash on someone's neck. And of course, this person, he guides you like a sheep or something like this. He guides that person like, or a dog. You guide that dog around that leash. So in the language, this is what taqleed means, to place something around the neck that encircles the neck. In the deen istilahin, it is following those who don't have with him any hujjah. Ittiba' man laysa qawluhu hujjah. There's a poet that said, taqleedina qubul qawl al-qa'il min ghayr dhakara hujjah lil-sa'il. That blind following with us, taqleedina qubul qawl al-qa'il, is accepting the statements of the one who is questioned, min ghayr dhakara hujjah lil-sa'il, without the one who is questioned providing any evidence for the questioner. So this is taqleed. So to follow someone without any evidence. Or Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala says, قَلَدَ فُلَانٍ فَلَانٍ يَعْنِي وَدِعْ فِي أَنَقَهُ قِلَدَ. So, it means like to follow someone, or placing on his neck a collar. So, قَلَدَ فُلَانٍ فلان يعني ودع في عنقه قلادة. So let's look at it again. So blind following, in the language sense, it means like to place a collar or something encircling the person's neck. So it means that you're leading that person around by that collar. In the religion, it means to follow someone without that person stating any hujjah, any evidence. Now, is it related, or does it mean that, as it relates to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we make taqleed in following him? No. As it relates to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's not considered taqleed. It's not considered that. Because why? Because the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he does not speak except with hujjah, except with evidence. Also, is it considered to be taqleed if it's ijma'a, al-ulama? No. Because the ulama, when it's ijma'a, in of itself, it is hujjah, it is evidence, as Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salih Uthaymin mentions. So, في اتباع الإجماع ليس تقليد. So following ijma' is not taqleed. Now, as it relates to the topic of taqleed, you have first that it be in general the one who does not have the ability to understand the hukm in and of itself, or he cannot understand it himself. So therefore, Shaykh Uthaymin rahimahullah ta'ala said it's obligatory for this person to make taqleed. Why? Because Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, in the 16th surah, the 43rd ayah. So Allah said, so therefore ask the people of the remembrance. And the ulama say here, the people of knowledge, if it is you don't know. If it is you do not know. So this is the person who does not know. He must ask the people of knowledge because he doesn't know. So therefore he takes their statements, even if there's no evidence accompanied with that statement. Because why? He does not know. And Allah told him, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So how can he, whether evidence is accompanied or not? If he don't know, then he wouldn't. If he knew, he wouldn't ask. So obviously he's asking because he does not have the evidence. So whether evidence is there or not, he doesn't have the ability to get the evidence and or may not understand the evidence, so he accepts that which is given. Because Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So ask the people of knowledge if it is you don't know. So you have taqleed that is wajib and taqleed that is permissible. Taqleed that is wajib, of course, is that taqleed, if the person does not know, he has to ask the people of knowledge. It's obligatory upon him to do so. So let's break down the categories of people as relates to the blind following, because this is important to know. Because in some cases it is obligatory. Other cases it is preferable and permissible. And other cases it is haram. It is not permissible for the person to blindly follow anyone except that he knows that the person where he brings or derives his evidences from. As Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, I believe, who said it, and Allah Ta'ala a'lam, it is not permissible for anyone to accept my statements except that he knows where I bring my evidences from, or where or how did I derive my evidences. And in most cases, a lot of times we are unaware, especially the common people, unaware of how the ulama have derived their evidences. So let's look at it a little further. So Shaykh Abdul Rahman al-Sa'di, or some ulama say Sa'di, who is the teacher of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salih Uthaymin, in his book Usul al-Fiqh al-Muhimma, he points out the mujtahid, the one who has the ability to derive his own evidences from Kitab and Sunnah and give a ruling based on that. But then he says about the one who doesn't have the ability, he says, upon him, alayhi taqleed was su'al, is blind following and asking. كما ذكر الله الأمرين في قوله فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. As he mentions on page 119, he said that as Allah has mentioned about these two affairs, that meaning blindly following and asking. He said, or following and asking. He said, Allah said, فاسألوا أهل الذكر. So here's the asking the people of knowledge. In kuntum la ta'lamun, if it is you don't know, and that what the following comes in at. So from that we can understand that, and the ulama have mentioned that one, it is not an obligation upon everyone to make ijtihad, because everyone will have that ability. Because if it was, Allah would not have said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ. It shows you something will have that ability. And second, that it is not totally prohibited for everyone to be a follower of the scholars without having any evidence. So, as it relates to the one who doesn't have the ability, let's get into the classifications. You have one, the general person, the general people, those in which don't have the ability to look into the dalil or the adillah, the evidences. So in those people, it is an obligation, it is a must that they ask Ahlul Ilm, the people of Kitab and Sunnah. Going back to it, as Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So if you don't know, ask the people who know. And this is, as we mentioned earlier, the 16th surah, the 43rd ayah. So that individual who doesn't know, the general people who don't have the ability to look into the evidences, they must ask the people of knowledge in order to come about with an answer. They must ask the people of knowledge, and they must accept that. They accept that from them, and they take that as a ruling whether evidence is applied or not. The second category is the mutabi', the follower, the one in which he's on a higher level, darajat, in ilm and fihm, in knowledge and understanding over the person, the general person. But this one, he has the ability to understand the evidences when it's clarified to him, as well as to look into what is preferred from the evidences and other than that. So therefore, فَهَذَا لَا يُجُوزْ لَهُ, it's not permissible for this one, الْأَخْذَ بِقَوْلِ أَحَدٍ دُونَ أَنْ يُعْرَفَ دَلِيلُهُ. يَعْرَفُ دَلِيلُهُ. It's not permissible for this one to take the evidences from anyone except that he knows his evidence. This goes with the statement of Abu Hanifa. And it's upon him that he do what he's able in looking into the differences of the scholars. So the one who the second level, the Muslim who follows, but he has the ability, unlike the general Muslim who don't have the ability to look into the evidences, he's different. He has the ability to look into it. So it's not permissible for him to take the evidence, take the fatwa, except that he knows where the fatwa was derived from. Because he has the ability to look into it and look into the various differences. He can distinguish if it's right or wrong. But in some cases where he doesn't have that ability to see what's preferable, then, as ulama say, he lowers his status down to the general person who doesn't have the ability, and then he asks Ahlul Ilm, based on the verse, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So in some cases he asks when he doesn't know. In some cases he don't ask because he knows, and he can look into it. In that case, when he can look into it and find the correct answer is not permissible for him to take without any evidences, and knowing how the Shaykh brought his evidence. And the last case is the mujtahid, the scholar who is able to look into Kitab and Sunnah without anyone, and he can bring his own evidences without asking anyone at all. He doesn't need that. He doesn't have to look at, sometimes he knows, sometimes he doesn't know. In this case, it's not permissible for him to accept anything from any scholar, because he's a scholar himself and he knows the correct evidence and how to go about it. So it's not permissible for him to take anything from a scholar without any evidences at all. So this is the three categories. One, the person who's general, who can't understand the evidences at all. He can't look into it at all. He doesn't have that ability. Then he takes what the scholar gives him without any proof. The second, the one who's able at times to look into the evidences himself and the different opinions of the scholars. So therefore, if the scholar doesn't bring any evidence, it's not permissible for him to accept it. He must look into it himself and bring about the correct understanding and knows where the scholar brings his evidence from. And at times, he asks because he doesn't know. And the third is the one who doesn't need the scholars at all. He's able to bring, this is the mujtahid, the scholar who's able to bring about his own understanding, going directly to the source of Kitab and Sunnah. The Kitab and Sunnah. Now, sometimes the scholar, he may, if he doesn't have time, he looks into, like Shaykh Uthaymeen, he mentions that he cannot return back to the kutub for the evidences. He don't have the time, the ability to look into the evidences at that particular time. Then he can take the statements of the ulama, such as Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, because he's closer to being correct, from other than him. So in that case, he can look into the statements of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah without him bringing any evidence, because he knows Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he's mostly close to the haqq in many cases, and closer than others other than him. So with a scholar, he can do that without seeing the evidence. So this is pretty much what I wanted to mention. I hope that I did justice, and Allah Ta'ala a'lam. So with that, is anything I said correct from Allah alone. Anything I said from mistake is myself and the shaitan. Barakallahu feekum. Hafidakum Allah min kulli sha. Waskanakum fi